Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes only. Today, we're going to be talking about a big, huge thing. It's going to sound simple, but it's huge, and it has to do and ties in with September 23rd. You remember all these years we've been talking about, and they've been hinting at something big that was going to happen on September 23rd. Well, it's something huge but just seems small, that did happen yesterday on September 23rd. The UN, the people that sit in New York City in the big building in the shape of, what would you call it? The stone, what's it, a Rosetta Stone, or either anyways, they're in New York City. And they have that big beast creature out front that is sounds like and looks like the Revelation 17 beast, and they believe that they run the world and control the world. And yesterday they held a vote and said that we do run the world now. And there happened to be 7 kings that said we don't want nothing to do with this, and they voted against it. And they ignored the 7 kings. And another thing very interesting is that they actually held the vote. When, Shannon?
The vote. Oh,
the original vote on what they finalized yesterday.
April 8th.
April 8th.
Eclipse.
During the eclipse. That's right. And that was by mistake, obviously. And excuse me, today is the 23rd. Today is the final day of their. Thank you for saying that, Sharon. It's the final day of their meeting and the consecration of their agreement. Where we all go kind of agreement, like the fallen angels did. Well, what they basically said is that going against Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, all these countries that we've been talking about in previous shows, and that I have said are the horns of the beast that will destroy the woman that sits on the back of all these countries, and is the prostitute. And they hate her, and now they've turned on, or she has turned on them and said, you're going to go along with what we are doing or else. And what they're doing is they're implementing the systems that we've all been talking about. The digital currency, they're rolling forward with it. They've made an agreement now. They are rolling forward. It's public. It's readable. You can go check it out yourself. It's on the UN website. I'll show you. Matter of fact, I'll put a link right now in the comments to that summit. It was called the Summit of the Future. And it's a big deal. It really is a big deal. And there's a lot of other things going on too that we're going to try to get into today. But before we get into all of it, let's just check in with Shannon and see what in the supernatural is going on with her today. Anything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you did have a miracle.
Oh, with the
Mm-hmm.
I have recently in the last several months just discovered that I was put on as a beneficiary to my grandparents, one of their trusts. And it turns out they have a property out here that no one knew about. So today I'm going to go find out where it is, and I get to do something with it when I find it, because I'm the only family member nearby. So I'm going to have chickens, guys. I'm going to grow a garden. I am just totally stoked on this. So
yeah, that is awesome.
It's like this big, and it's.
How far away from you is it, you think?
I don't know. So I'll find
out. Don't know yet.
San Bernardino County, which is a huge county, but knowing my grandparents, it's probably here in Yucaipa. So, woohoo!
All right. Very
Their
cool.
best friends moved out here, and I'm pretty sure But anyways, that's one great thing. And today I just wanted to start off on the right foot. And I every day I have a reminder that pops up on my phone that I put in. You know how you can put reminders or notes or whatever. And I've had this on my reminder list every single day for the last 6 years. And I just wanted to read this. This is Peter 1:3. And just remember this for your everyday. The fact that it pops up in my phone every day brings me hope and joy. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, through it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus. So, just in a nutshell, this scripture really reminds us that no matter what trials we're going through right now, that it is more precious than gold, more precious than any material thing that you could ever have. And that hopefully in the end, Jesus is going to find that with honor. And anyways, I just kind of wanted to start that off with that scripture because it brings me hope every day when we're faced with all of these things that seemingly just keep piling on. And don't give up hope because Jesus has got our back. Keep vigilant and just remember that the trials you are going through are more precious in the eyes of God than any material or works or anything that you could possibly get, as well as your faith. So yeah, just want to say that.
Well, thank you, Shannon. That's that was beautiful. Thank you. Well, let's. I guess we should go ahead and jump into this, and that is the Summit of the Future. That, as you can see, was scheduled from the 20th to the 23rd, which apparently is still going on today. And today is the mirror date, the opposite. So the sun and the moon are in the opposite exact positions in their rotations that they were on April 8th. Okay. Because when they held the original vote for this Summit of the Future, they held it on April 8th during the day of the eclipse. And of course, there are many reasons why they did that, and I could speculate various things. But they have certain gods they worship, and they have to do certain rituals on certain days, certain hours, certain everything exactly, certain ways, in order to get the approval of their gods, apparently. And one of their gods for sure is this Baal character, because in part of this Baal deity, that was from Babylon, because they are in that part of the Summit of the Future, the agreement that they all signed, except for the 7 kings of Revelation 17, that will come after Babylon because of this and burn her with fire. What was I going to say? Lose my train of thought sometimes. What was I going to say, Shannon?
I don't know. I'm not reminding you.
I know. Here, my brain's working again. Baal, okay, of Babylon, the consumer or the god of fertility and the consumer of children, have to sacrifice children to that god. And I hate to say, but I wonder what they did related to that subjectry on April 8th. I bet it, oh Lord. And they're doing it in the open too as well. Their primary candidate, the candidate that they are pushing to try to make president right now, of course, is Kamala. Now, we could get into the whole Trump to Kamala thing, but that's not what this video is exactly about. Because I don't have a horse in that race. None of us do really here. But Kamala, her thing she's into is this reproductive freedom, meaning giving you the right to kill your children. You see, and that's what they're all about. See the little signs in the background over here and everything. They want the right to sacrifice their children to Baal. Okay, so we can't ignore that may be the deity, but deity Baal, really what we're talking about is Satan. They've given all these different names for all these gods throughout all time, all the way back to the Egyptian days and before, and all the way forward through the Greeks and their Greek gods and all this. It's all the same characters. I've said this before. It's Satan, which is a fallen angel, and all the other fallen angels that came down with him. And on April 8th, we all seen what looked like deities coming down, if y'all guys remember. Matter of fact, I think I might have a little reminder clip of that right here that I can play probably. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Check this out. Now you see the guy there at the end that knocked over the dominoes. All these things I do in these videos that I create like that are for a reason. And April 8th, symbolically, they were sitting at that table looking at those dominoes, getting ready to knock them over. And today and yesterday, they knocked them over. That's where we're at. Shannon?
I just want to interject something real quick, just in case anybody has any kind of question or is skeptical about what abortion is. There was even an article posted or published in Cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan is one of the top 10 magazines that are going out there to young women all over the country. And they published an article about how to turn your abortion into a ritual. And they showed it and laid it out step by step and how to make it a ritual. And just interestingly enough, this comment right here is 100% true. In 1993, they had a major Moloch ritual at Soldier Field during the Chicago World's Fair in 1933. And I have just recently seen this footage, the black and white footage that's silent of this ritual.
I've seen it too recently. Yeah, I've seen it too. Yep. They were all dancing around there by the statue, the graven image that they had built of it. I've seen that too.
And just the fact they had these trucks or vans parked out front of the DNC to just go and get your abortion or vasectomy right on the spot for free is promoting this insanity, and it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I had to go on a rant. I was a little passionate about that, but I mean, if you have doubt that that's what that is, go look up that Cosmopolitan or that Cosmo article. It's just like right in your face.
Right here, these are on YouTube. I just pulled them up real quick. These are videos of when the egg is fertilized. Okay, you can go here and you can watch these videos. And when an egg is fertilized by the sperm, there is a spark, a flash of light that takes place, and you can kind of see it. They're showing it there in the little window there. There's a spark of light. That light, that spark, is the life, the essence of life, the fire, the soul coming across and into that new baby that is now uh, as valuable and is just as much a child as a 1-year-old is. And that's what takes place. And you have to understand that. And there are many reasons why I understand this even more that I could get into it and explain. But main thing is you have to understand that they know this, but they don't want to talk people into sterilizing themselves, or that would be the big push. But what is the big push? Kill the babies, because they can't get their magic if they don't get the babies killed, you see. So they have to do that. So I just wanted to show y'all guys that real quick. And come back over here to the Summit of the Future, which is what we're talking about here, because if you're just getting here, they just passed the United Nations, just passed in the last 2 days. They voted on it on April 8th of 2024 during the eclipse. And September 23rd is the exact mirror date. Today is the exact mirror date of April 8th. The sun and the moon are in their exact opposite positions in their cycle. And I said, you remember, I'm sure you remember, Shannon, but I said when I was talking about September 23rd as related to April 8th and what would go down on that day. Well, what's went down is they have made their move on their one world government is really ultimately what this is. And they claim that there are 7 countries that voted no, that didn't want to go along with it, because built right into the script of this thing here is the whole reproductive rights thing that Kamala's pushing, okay, about killing the babies. That's one of their biggest things, is about making sure that everybody in the world has the right to reproductive freedom. You know, that nice, fancy, beautiful word. You know, anytime they want to take something like a turd, and turn it into something beautiful, they'll give it a nice name. Like, it looks like chocolate. It's just completely ridiculous. But that's how they operate. And that's what they've done. And that's just the beginning of what they've done. I put the link. The link is in the comments to this. So you can check this out after the show. You can go here, right here on the page that I dropped in the comments. You can go here and you can download the adopted document and read it. Okay. And I don't know what this button is. Let's see. Web TV footage of the program. So they've got some film there you can look at of them doing this. You see, you have to understand that this literally is playing out exactly biblically. Okay, exactly biblically. And I spend a lot of time studying the Bible, reading the Bible, and rereading the same verses over and over and over, and researching what the actual words mean in the original languages and all of that, because that's how you have to study it to understand it. Let's see if I've got this thing I want to pull up here real quick. I know I do. Let's see what I do with it. Well, let me just pull it up this way, a little bit easier. Let's go beast. Revelation 17. Oh boy, let's try to do this again. Beast. Revelation 17. UN. Or no, let's go with New York City. Let's click on images. There you go. Right there. That's what they've got there in New York City, right near the UN, is this creature. Okay. And all kinds of other idols and such that they have there. But if we let's pull up the scripture itself, and let's see if what we're saying here is actually in scripture. Okay, this is, now, y'all guys, some of you are going to remember that I just did a video a few days ago, maybe a week, and I read all of this. And I knew some of y'all guys would wonder why I was reading it. And I explained some of it a little bit, but it was the Holy Spirit having me. I didn't even quite know why I was being pushed to come back and read and understand all of this on that day, because I didn't know they were going to do this vote on the 23rd or 22nd, but they did. And so I read all of this about the woman in scarlet sitting on the beast that had seven heads and 10 horns. She's arrayed in purple. When I was talking about Kamala, how she's been wearing a lot of purple and stuff, as she's playing her symbolic role. And then you come on down here, and it says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen. What this means is that the 5 kings that are involved don't have control of their own country anymore. They're fallen, but they're still placeholders. Okay, so 5 are fallen, and 1 is. So that means that there is a country out of all these countries. Maybe it's Russia, maybe it's China, maybe it's North Korea. I don't know. Venezuela. I doubt it. But there's one that is, meaning that they actually still have power in their own country. They're not fallen, as it says here. Okay. And then the other is not yet to come, not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So I don't know who this one is that is, the other is not yet come. Maybe if somebody knows or has an idea, they can put that in the comments so I could see it. If any of us sees that come up in the comments, try to grab it and catch my attention. So now it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So what you have to understand here, let me see if I can explain this correctly. Well, let me just read forward some more and then I'll try to explain it. Because I want you to understand this whole language about like the 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and how I explain that. I want you to understand the bigger picture here as well, but I'll come back to it. So, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. Perdition meaning basically hell. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Now the beast, we already established what the beast was, right? The beast that the woman sits on. And then it comes down here and talks about these kings receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. But it says that there are 10 of them. So we've got this number of 7, and then we've got this 10 number, which is a total of 17. But I couldn't help but notice today, because how it talks about the seven heads or the 7 mountains, and there are 7 kings. Okay, and here it is. We have all these countries that are turning their back on the UN, saying, we know we're not going this direction, and they moved ahead anyways. So this is the setup, because the UN in New York City is the head of this system, of this beast system. You see, they're the power. You've got New York City, you've got DC, and you've got LA. Sorry, Shannon, it is what it is.
Oh, it is what it is.
But yeah.
May
So
I also mention that the part of Hollywood is the psychological warfare machine, just so you guys get that. That's the area that deals with the psychological warfare, which is what's really controlling us. So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, media. You got DC, which is the war machine,
Right.
and the political machine, and then you've got New York City, which is the controller of all of it, And most people don't realize there's an area in Long Island. There's a little community there, or I guess you'd call it a community instead of a city, that is actually named Babylon, right there in Long Island in New York. You can look it up if you want to. So there is, and then there's also right off the coast of New York City, there is a canyon that is right beside the Hudson Canyon. It's larger than the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Both of them are. And one is called the Hudson Canyon, and the one right beside it is called Babylon Canyon. Yeah, I guess they just run out of names, right? So they decided to call that canyon that's running right up to New York City Babylon Canyon. I think not. All right, so let's keep going here. I want to read on through this. Shannon, you jump in any time that you want to. Okay, so they'll receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and which means, of course, they're just like the UN has one mind, and they're going their direction, what they want to do. These kings are going to have one mind as well as with what they're going to do. And it says, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay, so these are the 10 horns which thou sawest, are 10 other kings. They're going to give their power to the original beast. Okay. Yeah, give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. That would be us. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. You see? So it's not just one specific area, it's a lot of places. And when it says that she sits on them, what it is that when you sit on somebody, you've got them under control. If you've ever watched any what is it called, MAA or that the fighting organization they do on television and stuff,
or MMA.
If you sit on somebody in a full mount, if you're sitting on them like on the back of a horse, you have control. Think about how a human can control a horse and many other big beasts, right? Well, what they're saying through symbolism is that the UN and the United States are sitting on the back of all these countries, controlling them, ruling them, pulling resources out of them, control them in every way possible, pretty much. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You remember me about 6 months ago reading this, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
But I chose to read it the way it was written, with power in my voice and everything, which
Yeah.
kind of freaked a few people out.
Yeah.
Yeah. For God, so this has been on my table right here for a while. And then I just seen the dominoes fall today. And actually Shannon sent me the video that came from Celeste. What's her last name?
Celeste Solemn. Just to mention, if you guys really want to get in depth of all the interlaced plans from start to finish, check out her channel, Celeste Solemn. Again, one more time. She was one of the few people when I had come out from all the visions and come to Jesus and everything, that when I was watching her videos explaining the things that she had discovered when working with FEMA and all of these things, because she was very high up, and it all aligned with the things that I had been shown during that time of visions. And she's been right on top of everything this whole time, and her story is very fascinating. She's an amazing woman of Christ, and she has a lot of great information and can show you and send you to the places that you can look it up and research yourself. So you don't have to take her word for it, but she has been on top of it and since the 90s. So, an amazing lady.
Yeah, she has been. She has been on it for a long time as well. Yeah, I've known of Celeste for a very long time. Um, so yeah, y'all guys go over and check out some of her stuff. I'm trying. I sent her a message today, as a matter of fact, to try to get her on to come on as a guest on the show here. Maybe you happen to be watching, Celeste. If you are, let's have you on and let's have a conversation in depth about this. I'd appreciate it, and we can broadcast live to all 8 platforms that we're live on right now. So, all right, let's see. Let's read the last little bit up here of this part of Revelations. I just read where it says, "The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire." And it means exactly what it sounds like. It means that these countries that the UN has basically given the middle finger to they're the ones that I've been saying for years now are going to be the ones that this would happen to, and they did it today. So let me read the rest. "For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." I've seen somebody make a comment a while ago too about us, when that make us in war in the flesh and not spiritually. Well, yeah, it makes this country at war with these things, but you have to remain an outsider. You have to remain an observer. You don't want to allow yourself to get involved physically. I can't say that none of us here aren't going to have a situation where there's going to be a risk to us or a risk to someone we care about. But that's weird. Got this comment that came in, and I just thought it was funny. I appreciate whoever that is. But yeah, I appreciate your comment. Now I done forgot what I was going to say. That threw me off. But I do know where I want to go next. Let's see here. Got a few other things I want to show you that I find kind of interesting. For those of you, yeah.
Real quick, I just wanted to mention that there was an announcement a couple of days ago that we will be having a mini moon in orbit. So I just thought, I mean, I'm sure you were going to mention that, but it's just, I want to say it.
It ain't my job to mention everything. I can't remember everything. Yeah. The only weird thing is they're saying it's going to be so small that you can't see it even with a basic telescope. So it's like, how is this a mini moon if we can't see it with the naked eye?
Interesting.
But I think it's, right in this part of the Revelations, which I read in that video a week ago, it talks about a couple of things. One is an angel that is seen standing in the sun, and he lets out a great shout, which of course is frequency, it's sound. So, and then there's another one that talks about the angel that comes down from heaven and is so bright that he lightens the ground, lightens the earth. This is all right around in Revelations where we're at right now. So yeah, we're going to see we've already seen some pretty amazing things, like that little clip I showed earlier. You know, that's a chariot of fire with a deity set on its back, is what I believe, and that's what's described in the Bible about it. A chariot of fire. And we've seen the black deities flying around that had no light in them. And they are what you think they are. They are dark entities that came in through the eclipse, fell from heaven, through the gateway, which is the sun and moon when they go into eclipse mode. And I can't explain it all, but I do know that is the case. This, what you're looking at right here, is just simply an image of one of the triangles that are on the ball drop on the New York City New Year's Eve thing, because that is directly in play with what we're talking about the whore getting burned. Okay, when Babylon goes down in 1 hour. Okay, and the video I did, which is one of the best videos I've ever done, probably, I released it a couple weeks ago, and it's called Hidden Symbolism of the End. Still on the channel here. You can watch it on, I know it's on Logic Before Authority, I think is where it's at. Yeah, I don't think it's on the Supernatural Show channel, but it's over on Logic Before Authority channel. But in that video, and since I've done that video, really what I've done is I've come to understand what they're showing here. What they're doing is they're showing let me pull up an actual pineapple so I can explain it better. And some of you are just going to think I'm nuts, but that's fine, because you just don't know what I know yet. But I'm trying to explain it, so remain open-minded, and you're going to start to see and understand what I'm trying to explain and show to everyone. Let me just use this image, I guess. Okay, a pineapple. Now, Shannon, you remember in our foreheads, between our eyes, we have the Crista Galli, right? And the Crista Galli has a little thing that sticks up in the front. It's right in between your eyes here. It's a very small bone called the ethoid bone, and it has the Crista Galli on it, which is a little thing that sticks up right on the side. It's like a little thorn sticking up almost. And if you look at this pineapple, you'll notice that. Let's see if I can zoom this in some more. Okay, you'll notice, look at one of these areas individually by itself. You'll see what looks like a wing right here, and another wing right here. And then you see something that's sticking up. We all have had these pineapples, and they have this little prickly things that stick off the side. On a pineapple, that is the Crista Galli. And there are many of them. And what this is the image of the flower of life. Okay, is what this is. This is in the image of the flower of life. It's the way God made lots of things. Okay, and so why did they decide to put the image of a flower of life on this ball that they call an apple in New York City, which is called the Big Apple? And this ball is dropped every year on New Year's. Why did they choose this? And why did they choose? Let me show you a couple of more that are from that. Now, here's another perspective of the flower of life. This is another view of it, looking at it from a cutaway view. Okay. So here we have on there again another flower. You may call this a lotus. Okay. So this is one of the other little triangles. All of them on there are flowers. Let me grab you another one here. And if you know much about the apple, and you should, because most of you should have watched the hidden symbolism of the end, you would know that why they're doing this, why it's the apple, and why is the apple or the fruit referred to in the Garden of Eden. It's because it's about the whole design of creation. And what they're doing is they're putting the design of creation right in our face and saying that they're going to drop it, ultimately, is what they're saying. And it has to do with the destruction of not just the world, but of humanity itself. This is why there is a worldwide genocide going on around the world right now. When you're trying to wipe out the population and openly admitting it, you have to understand then that you've got a genocide going on. And what we have to do to stay out of it is be smart. Not like a smartphone smart, but be where we should be in our continents, in the way we're thinking, in the way we're watching everything. Because we do have to watch everything. We are watchers, and we're supposed to be watching and informing other people the best we can, just like I'm doing. Me and Shannon are doing our job, doing our part here. Here's another image with the flowers on it again. And this is all about them saying that they are going to destroy and recreate, build back better creation and society as a whole. And that's what they're trying to do. And one of the really interesting things about it, or to me anyways, is these images of the flowers and the flower of life and the tree with the fruit on it in the Garden of Eden and all this. This is all the image. It's this repeating image on a fractal level, meaning all the way to the smallest, down to our cellular level in our body, all the way to the way heaven is designed. We're looking at the same imagery repeating, smaller, 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 bigger, bigger, bigger. It's just like they said, Alistair Crowley, as above, so below, and that's what that meant. Now, they never explained exactly what it meant, but that's what it means. And because everything in this world is built on a fractal nature in the image of God. And so
which brings it back to this. These are chimatic, or people also know it cymatic frequency patterns.
That's right.
When you're putting it in a big lit up ball, all those patterns, it is emitting a frequency. through that light and the energy of the ritual of everybody going out there and giving their energy to it. So it's literally a ritual spell casting type of a thing to bring about that type of frequency. And frequency is what holds together all matter, and it's the basis of life. I mean, God spoke and we became, things happened.
Exactly what these all are. Remember that video we seen that time, Shannon, that where there was an artist and he was overlaying all these cymatic patterns, and he layered them like, say, 7 layers or whatever. And when he layered all these cymatic patterns into like 7 layers, all of a sudden, yeah, it became the image of a child,
Right.
or the image of a woman or a man, and that's how creation is created, through layers of frequencies vibrating at different tones, and it animates our bodies and allows us to get up and walk and live this life. And the whole world is based on it. The flowers coming out of the ground, the trees, they're in the same image as well. It's all this toroidal imagery thing that I've been talking about for years now, and a lot of you kept that, why you keep talking about toroidal stuff? Because God has shown it to me, and I know how important it is, and y'all guys need to be able to see it, or you would never understand this symbolism stuff, okay, and why these things were important. I was going to just show a little video here of what we're talking about, or what Shannon was talking about, the kymatics, where frequency that he's showing there is controlling the water and the sand and the fire and whatever that stuff is.
So, okay.
I'll turn the audio on for briefly. So you see he's changing that with just having a metal plate set on top of a speaker. And that's a speaker with some water setting in it. And the frequency controls it and creates these patterns. You are one of these patterns. I am. Actually, we are many of these patterns interwoven, is the truth behind it. Our world is this pattern interwoven. I mean, this is fantastic imagery to understand something that is majestic and heavenly as our world and heaven itself, and our bodies, how they work. This is all tied to this. And they decided to show us this kind of stuff, in New York City, where they're at right now today, and have voted on the new Summit of the Future. And they've made 7 kings mad. That are the 7 kings that are talked about in Revelation 17. I'm rehashing a little bit for those of you that are just getting here, that weren't here earlier. I'm going to open up this is one other image that came from those. And obviously you can see that it's a different aspect or view. It has to do, looks like either a flower or a snowflake, something like that. And these are the crystals that were put out by Waterford for the crystal apple that's in New York City. Because, again, this plays into what they're doing today is going to unfold on some New Year's Day, whether it's the one that the United States celebrates, which I think I'm probably most inclined to think it's that date, when the horns of the beast will come after and burn her with fire. And they all know this. They're all in on it. They're all literally playing out the script, which kind of blows my mind knowing that they're all in on it, and there likely isn't any of these players that are not controlled at least some level, because there's just too big of powers in this world. What country could stand against the military of the United States? Maybe now, since we've got trans everything in the military, and half the military is women. Nothing against y'all girls, but I'd rather put it this way: I'd rather fight a bunch of girls than a bunch of guys. I don't know about y'all guys, but what I'm saying is the strength of the United States military is very much degraded, and we're looking very vulnerable. It's obvious for anyone to see, and it's intentional. They want us to know that we're vulnerable because it's called predictive programming. Because when it all happens, oh, I knew it was going to happen. Just like when Trump got shot, oh, I knew it was going to happen. And I've been telling people for a decade that they were going to shoot Trump. And I'll tell you again right now, they ain't done. As a matter of fact, I just released a video, and somebody, unfortunately, the sound didn't come out on it, so I'm going to have to redo it probably, but I'll kind of redo it right here, right now. I released a video where they showed in The Simpsons where Bart had set up let me back it up here. Bart was planning a prank. The prank was to assassinate a political leader. And this political leader, people that want to vote for him, they look like, let me find it here. I'll show you what they look like. If I can ever find it, there we go. There they are. Now, what political leader do you think these are the fans of that are voting for him, Shannon? Did you have to guess?
Something to do with Make America Great Again?
Huh?
Does it have something to do with Make America Great Again?
It sort of looks that way, don't it? But this cartoon was put out before Trump ever ran for president. How could that happen, Shannon? It's just coincidence, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Total coincidence.
Total coincidence. So, and we also have, Mr. T. He's saying that he's going to the rally, right? Let's listen to that, because we can't listen to that without getting a copyright.
I'm going to go there in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to Springfield.
He's going to Springfield. Now you would say, why does this have anything to do with what you're talking about, Daniel? You come on here and talk about Revelation 17 and all these things. Okay. Because all of this is part of the whole plan. There is no 500 plans going on. It's everything that you see going on is all part of one thing. And in the case of Trump and Biden and Kamala, it's all about the fall of this country. They know that they are taking this country down, taking it out. And you have to be, you were born here. Maybe you were born in the United States. Maybe you were born in what they call America. Those are just words that man made with invisible lines showing this part belongs to us. It's not real. It's just a dream. It's the American dream. You have to literally be asleep to believe it. This stuff is all fake. You know more from America than you are from Mars. And maybe you're watching this from Australia. You know more from Australia than you are from Mars. You're in this world, but you're not of this world. You cannot get in and make agreements and pacts with, I'm an American. I'm going to make this country great again. I'm going to get in a big fight with everybody that don't agree here soon. If they don't elect Trump, if they put Kamala in there, I'm going to do something crazy. Woo! We can't get involved like that. We have to sit back, observe, prepare the best we can, do what we can. It looks like somebody says England is being taken out. there's a lot of countries because they have to destroy what we all believe in because they've created this dream, this fantasy called America or England or Russia, Mother Russia, or whatever dream in any country that you want to look at. All these different cultures. And a culture, all it is something you put in a dish and try this one. Well, let's try communism in this dish. Let's try capitalism in this dish. And let's try democracy in this dish. All these different cultures. I wonder how they'll turn out. And after we watch and witness all of it, how they all turn out, then we'll pick what we want to do and create the new world order, the ultimate one world culture. Sounds silly, but I'm speaking the truth. Yeah, China, I mean, go ahead, Shannon.
I was going to say, I mean, the one world religion has been officially announced, so we're right on target. One world order to be.
Tell us what you know about that.
Well, for quite some time now, for the last several years, Pope Francis has been on this whole kick to get a one world religion going. They have the building already built, and it's all about the coexist movement, but really it's
coexist movement, yeah.
Right.
And bring them all together into one.
And when he says things like you don't need Jesus as your savior to get into heaven and we're all, kumbaya, happy together and all worship the same God, that's a huge, huge deception. And it's all in the guise of unity and love, but really it's quite a deceptive thing. And I know a lot of our viewers know about this, and
Wow.
But it's the when you have one world government, you're going to have to control with the one world religion, and if you don't fall in line of that belief, it's not.
It's going to hurt your social credit score.
Yeah.
So then you can't get but one banana instead of 4 when you go to the grocery store, or however it is they want to penalize you. This is in India. This is one of those temples. This is called the Lotus Temple. It's in India, and they it's a center for worship of all different denominations and everything, and it's called the Lotus. Just imagine that, just happens to be the Lotus, and they finished this. I can't remember what year they finished it in, the actual structure itself, but India. If I had to guess, it looks like India is really coming out a big, powerful winner in all of this. Some way, or either that or they're being, I don't know. I know the people of India, they're no different in most ways than most of the people of the world. They only have the information they have. Most of them have no clue what's really going on. But when you look at the United States, it's already being divided up and parceled off. All of our retail, when it comes to the service industry, is already all being run and owned by the Indians. And though we're not talking about American Indians, which ultimately are Egyptians from world cycles previously, but we're talking about the Indians in the Middle East, as I guess you'd call it. And they're running all the hotels, they're running all the gas stations. Is this not a part of a takeover or a dividing up of America? It is. We can ignore it or think it's something else, or we're just helping out those poor Indians overseas. It don't look like they're too poor to me because they own everything around here where I'm at. How about you, Shannon?
Oh yeah, it's a mix out here in Southern.
Is it a mix still?
But it
ain't a mix here. There's only one gas station out of, I only know of one that's not owned by an Indian.
Right.
And it don't mean I don't have love for the Indians. when I see them in the stores, I'm just as nice, and I talk to them just like I talk to y'all guys. But it's obvious that the country is being parceled up already. I mean, they get a 0% interest loan for years, and then they just sell it to the brother. Go ahead, Shannon.
Talk about, of course, predictive programming. And I know I brought this up before, but, when the Hunger Games came out, which, again, I refused to go and pay money to see any of those. I refuse. But it was showing you the future construct of what they want. And this isn't just in America. This is going to be everywhere. You'll have your sectors because it's the one world government. So every place has their sectors, their things, and you have to, basically battle to the death amongst children, mind you. Let's watch children take each other out for the greater good of the rest of the sector, right? Like the fact that there have been several references in clothing and other symbolism aspects of like the elections and all of these things. It's the Hunger Games, and millions of people paid money and was all about this kind of behavior in this film. It was such a popular thing. It's like you're paying to predict or to program yourself to be okay with this type of construct in our world. It's just don't get me going still on this subject matter. I really am very passionate about how the Hunger Games is like our future. And when you hear even of Trump talking about these freedom states or freedom places where we'll have, it's all in that same plan and construct. I have such a hard time explaining myself when I'm super passionate, guys. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but hopefully you get what I'm saying.
No, I mean, we're kind of on the spot, and we've got 1,000 people watching us, so it's sometimes a little hard to do this, Let me check out the comments and see what's going on in there. Let me enlarge them up. Let's see, so I think this is comments coming off of the Logic Before Authority channel only. The comments coming out of Facebook are on here as well, but all the other channels, they can't get them to feed in. Oh, excuse me, this is Logic Before Authority only. It's not even Facebook, but I can see all the Facebooks and everything else here as well, and I can post them up like this, that kind of thing. So, but let's look at the comments here. Let's see, what are y'all guys talking about? Well, I know what you're talking about, because I know what we're talking about. Some of you are talking about the Vatican, and absolutely, the Vatican is the religious arm of this. No doubt about it. So, it very well may be they're included in this destruction. But the United States has the military might. They have the media. I mean, you can get YouTube in Russia, okay? Russia's our enemy. But I can pull up Russian YouTube channels, and they can pull up ours and watch them. And Russia's our enemy? Okay. It's the United States. We control the media. We control the money. And I know there's other players in there, but we're going to be the ones to take the fall for it, is what my concern is that we'll be the ones to take the fall for this. And the Roman Catholic Church sits on top of what they call the Seven Mountains. Yep, I know what you're talking about. I've looked into that, and there's even an area in New York City that's called the Seven Mountains. So, are 10 or more countries going to attack the Vatican? And that's all they're going to attack and destroy the Vatican? No. No, they're not. Because then you got to deal with the military might of the United States, and other countries have some pretty good military might, like Great Britain and many other countries. I mean, if you watch some of the videos coming out of North Korea, they look like they're ready for war any day. With all the soldiers they've got an enormous amount of military men in the age range of 18 to 30. And they will come into play, unfortunately, I believe. All right, let's see here. Get my button straightened out again here. Let me look at my list of other things here, see what else I want to share with y'all guys here. A whole lot of things, but let me see. Here's a kind of an interesting image. Let me share the screen there again. That's from The Simpsons as well. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, let me put it like this. This is my prediction. We're fixing to see the climatic end to the greatest show on earth. And the battle of them showing that they are trying to destroy Trump right up until the last minutes is going to intensify. Will it appear that they've attempted to kill him again? Yes. Will they show that he has died? Yes. Will Kamala ultimately end up being the president? Likely. But not before Trump is actually elected. He will, of course, there is no election. This is all a script. Y'all got everyone in the country could vote for Trump. Now I have one person vote for Kamala, and they're still going to do what they're going to do because they're in control of it. Your word doesn't mean nothing. Neither does mine. Mine only means just a little bit, like a gnat flying around a horse, because I have this large town and all the platforms that I have. We get to speak out and be heard a little bit at least, but it would be about perfect, because you can see how India has taken over so many things in this country. And Kamala, she's not black. She's not black. She's Indian. And
she's part of the higher classes, and they have the sect that she comes from is they don't believe that in other words, your class is what you're worth, and you don't have the ability to move up, make more money, or get in a higher class. So they just look at everyone below them as nothing, as cattle, as an object. You are beneath her class.
Yeah, they I think they basically look at us like this right here. Just sheep, cattle, marched in a line. And I'm not going to be that while I'm here, but I tell you, there will come a day, and there is one presence in which I will be sheepish and meek in front of. And that's our Father in heaven. But here, we cannot just get in line and march like this. You're being marched off a cliff. They're going to control, suck the life out of you monetarily while they've got you here, and then dispose of you like an aborted child after a DNC. Of course, that's the Democratic National Party's name, DNC, and that's what that process is called, a DNC, in case you haven't seen me say that in the last couple of videos. And that's because they are the DNC party. That's literally their name. Because they've got to get rid of the babies. And I said about the baby being flushed down the toilet, because that's what they do with the blood of dead corpses and dead babies. A lot of times is they simply just flush them down the toilet, and they go back into the treatment plant where you're drinking water from. How you like those apples? I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
And I must reiterate this, that those of the human race that have gotten that thing in your arm, you are now patented and no longer considered human. You have a patent. You are now a product of the government.
Yep. Unfortunately, that is how they look at it. They look at it like you have no, you are owned, you are patented at this point. That is how they look at it.
I mean, it's like a Monsanto thing, you know, that food, you could be growing the food on your property, you do all of that, but if it's their Monsanto seed, they own it and they can do whatever they want with it and you have no rights.
Right.
Now it's in people. Isn't that great?
I took a look at a couple other things real quick. I took a look at the gematria for the Summit of the Future. And I figured I might as well share that with you if my computer doesn't crash and keep me from sharing it. And, well, my computer's not crashing, but the app is going to do it. I'll be darned. I don't know why I have so much problems with this app. Okay, let's see. Did it crash or did it not? It did. I think. Yep. Well, we won't be doing that. But basically, the gematria showed it come up as a match for the summit one there, the Summit of the Future. It was an exact match for President Donald J. Trump. And the other one, I've got it on my phone right here. I can tell you what it was. All right. Just a second, guys. Okay. Summit of the Future, President Donald J. Trump. And they also called it a pact for the future. The summit was called the Summit for the Future, and the actual vote was called the Pact for the Future. And the Pact for the Future was an exact match for artificial intelligence and nuclear explosion. You know, just little pieces of the script there. Guys, if you're new to this, because we do have some new viewers, we do all kinds of things here on the Supernatural Show. We talk about a lot of things. And you say, well, how is what's going on tied into the supernatural? I mean, well, if you can't see how these conversations biblically and scripturally playing out like this is supernatural, I don't know what to say. But we cover a lot of different topics, and we also like to hear from y'all guys. If you would like to tell some supernatural event that took place or events that have taken place in your life, you can go to the TheSupernatural.Show website. And let me put that up real quick. Supernatural.Show website, not .com, it's .show. And one thing right there on the homepage, there's an awesome video I did that you need to see if you've not seen it. It's a video that I cannot put on YouTube, and I can't even talk about most of the stuff that's in the video, or it costs me some, because it's really heavy duty video and you need to see it if you haven't seen it. But go there and tell your story. You know, if you've got a supernatural story, we'd like to have other shows where we just base it on y'all guys and your stories that have happened in your life. Maybe you just got a supernatural testimony that you want to tell. You can come here and fill out this form, and you can choose as to whether you want to be a guest on the show. So if you'd like to get onto the show with us, here with us, you can do that. And all you have to do is go here and fill out one of these forms and give us an idea of what you're going to talk about on the show. Fill it out here and tell us, yes, you want to be on the show. If you'd rather just tell your story and have one of us read it, then just select no, I don't want to be on the show, but and then type out your story in here. And if you've got pictures that are related, you can attach them and upload them here just by clicking on the button, and it'll pop it up and you can attach anything you want to. Or if you got a link to a video that's related to it, you can put that in here also, and then just submit it and we'll get it and process it from there. Or if you also might just have a lead on a story that you want us to know about, you can come here and submit a lead form. Just tell us what it's about and give us some links or whatever and submit that. There's a lot of things that you can do here on the website. You can request a consultation with myself or Shannon, the co-host, or Dan, our supernatural advisor. And there's just a lot of things you can do on here. If you haven't been to the website to check it out, please do. There's a ton of things on there, and y'all guys can become members of the website as well if you like. You can also choose, if you want just additional content and some additional perks, you can just simply choose to be a member of either the Supernatural Show channel on YouTube or on Logical Authority. Their membership's now available, and what that does is helps me pay the bills and keep this thing going, keep the lights on, and so on, because that ain't such an easy thing anymore, apparently. I know everybody is going through really tough times right now. It's not just me, and I'll bear it with you. So I'm used to sacrifice. So I'll bear it with you, but we'll get through this and keep moving forward. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you have subscribed if you're new here and you're still watching at this point, because across platforms here, we've got about 1,000 people watching right now. So share this wherever you're at, and thumbs it up if you don't mind. And again, go submit your story on the website. And if you've got something, or maybe you want to submit your story a little easier way, you can just text it to me. Okay? Or if you have some interesting photos, you can just text them to me. Or if you just want to say hi, and I'll reply. Either me or Miss Kim will get it and reply to you. But most stuff I actually read, and especially if it's something important. And let's see, what else, Shannon? Because I think we've about covered what we wanted to get covered today. I think.
Just know that all these things ramping up, getting faster and faster, in a way really should give us hope, because that just means Jesus is coming that much sooner. And
your redemption draws nigh. Look up.
Yeah, soon enough, we won't have to go through all these trials and tribulations anymore. But stay strong, keep that faith going, because no matter how bad it looks, if your faith is in Jesus, our Savior, God the Father, creator of all, you're going to be okay. This life is not what means something. It's your eternal life. Your eternal life is the most important thing to keep your focus on, because this is just a moment in time. It is a fleeting moment, and no one is promised tomorrow. So you just keep up your joy, you keep up your hope, stay smart, keep as wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Just keep that hope alive, because we're all going home soon. I really believe that.
And some people that maybe have had less experiences in their life, but let me say this, in reference to what Shannon was just saying, and that is let me ask the question, Shannon, how do you know that? How do you know that we're going to be protected supernaturally? How do you know that redemption draws nigh and all these things that we talk about are real? And the way I would answer that question is that God has shown me already in this life. God has shown me. He has saved me from certain death at least a half a dozen times. And those are the ones I weren't drunk in a stupor and can't remember. Those are the ones I do remember because I've done some stupid things before in the past. And I mean, everything from falling off the side of a mountain, landing on the only piece of sand anywhere, everything else was boulders. I was riding a bicycle one time, mountain bike, and my brakes went out and my speed kept increasing until I was like 50 miles an hour and I couldn't make the curve going around the side of this mountain. And I literally shot off the side of the mountain, tumbled and landed in the only piece of sand that was there. And I've gotten in a car wreck at 140 miles an hour, end over end, hit 3 pine trees. Not a single scratch. The car is destroyed, and I didn't have a single scratch or even a bruise on my entire body. I've ran off coming home one night, fell asleep, ran off the side of the road and ran off the side of a bridge down into a swamp-like area. And the tires on the truck did not even get dirty. The truck was supernaturally lifted out of the swamp while I was in a sleep-type state. Because when I went to go off, I could see, I woke up and seen where I was going off the side of the bridge. And everything went in slow motion, which is a common thing that happens when you're being intervened by an angel in your life to save it. Everything goes into slow motion. And I seen I was going down in there, but then everything went black for a second. And then next thing I know is I feel the truck dropping onto the highway, and I'm going down the road again at 45, 50 miles an hour. And this has happened over and over and over. I could keep going. But the point is answering, how do I know? Why should I believe you, Daniel? I'm witnessing to you. And I'm telling you the truth. There's no other reason. And then we could get into me being visited by so many angels over time that have come and shown me different things that they can do so that I can understand and know what they are and tell y'all guys what angels are. They're bright white, round all about, balls of light that people get in videos all the time, filming up in the sky. Oh, what is that? It ain't moving. Where'd it go? It just turned off. Oh, it just struck through the sky. Oh, look, it's like pixie dust behind it. Or, oh, look, it threw a lightning bolt into the ocean. I've seen all these things with my own eyes. God has blessed me and allowed me to see all these things. So I'm witnessing, I'm testifying to you. This is how I know. And many other things. When you have the Holy Spirit speak to you and say, get up and walk out now. You get a chance to think back about that and realize that you just had a SWAT team coming after you. Like 12 cops come in a building after me with 3 exits. And 2 cops came in each door, and there were 6 cops in the back parking lot. It was nighttime. They were looking into cars and all this. I'm sitting at the bar talking to a couple of people. I knew the people in the restaurant. I knew the owner. I knew the band players. I'm sitting there. Somebody in the restaurant, this lady called the cops on me. I'm sitting there, and I hear in my ear, and I got my back to the door, I hear, get up and walk out now. Actually, it was more like this. Get up and walk out now. Get up and walk out now. And I heard that soft, quiet voice, but it was a little bit more firm. And I said, whoa. And I looked over my shoulder, and there were cops coming in. I knew I had a warrant. I had been a little bad boy like I've always been and didn't show up for court when they said, you've got to submit to our authority and show up at court. And I said, nope, I ain't going. And so they came for me, and God said, get up and walk out now. And so I did. And I walked right by the cops, walked right out the door with them guarding every entrance, looking for me I'm pretty recognizable. And turned, went around the side of the building, kept walking down the street, started laughing, praising God. And that's how I know. Hopefully, y'all guys have had some of these experiences. You need to think back in your life and recognize what's happened to you and what's been shown to you, because I think there's a lot of you that this has happened and you ain't giving it credit. You ain't connecting the dots, you might say. You know what I mean, Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Dan was here, which love you, Dan, miss you. Can't wait for you to come back on the show.
My brother, back on the show. What are you doing?
But as he would say right now, I mean, he's been putting a lot of videos on his channel right now about the time is now. Those of us who feel that calling from God, it's time. Like, your time is now. No time like the present. And don't get frustrated with yourself too much. If Jesus has patience with you, you can have patience with you, because we're going to stumble. We're going to fall in our walk. But we're just got to pick ourselves back up and keep on that narrow path, guys.
Indeed. Dan's channel name is More Than a Conqueror. And Dan is truly a supernatural warrior. Literally. He truly is. And he understands a lot of things on different levels that I don't understand as well. But he's been mentoring me and Shannon, and he's on the show quite often as well. But things have changed a little bit for Dan, and he's kind of got his hands full more than he's used to. But I'm sure he'll be back here soon. We love you, Dan. And send an angel to you to give you a hug. So he's been having a lot of apparitions and stuff trying to come on his property, but things coming on and just disappearing, humanoid looking things, and cats and dogs walking along and just vanish. They're there 1 second and gone the next, this kind of stuff. He lives on what we've called Windwalker Ranch. So guys, I reckon that's it for today. The extra, it's not been updated yet again, but I will have it updated by the next show to show the people who support this work. And I greatly appreciate all y'all guys being here. We do the show normally on Mondays. We try to do every Monday, and unless something's just not working for that day. And if you like this work, this is the only work I do. I've been doing this for 15 years. If you'd like to be part of it, you can join by being a member on one of the YouTube channels, or you can go to the website, or just look below the video in the More section and look at all the different links there and different things I put down there for you. And or maybe you want to be a Patreon member where you can donate $1 a month. Kind of help build me up, so maybe one day here soon, and we're getting there. It's improving. It is improving every month a little bit. Or we can get to where I'm actually not like feeling like a beggar on the street sometimes. But anyways, I love you guys. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here, and we will see you next time here on the Supernatural Show. And there were a lot of you here today. Thank God. See you guys later. Bye-bye.